So why are narcissists so funny? So I'm going to be making a couple of videos about narcissism because I think that it's actually really relevant to the truther community, what's really going on in the world. After all, the world is run by narcissistic pedophiles, and the same people right now are in a narcissistic relationship with the COVID narrative. They're in a narcissistic trauma bond with the media, where on one hand they know that the media was lying to them, and on the other hand they continue to listen to them. It makes no sense. It's doublethink. It's doublethink. And there is a strange unity between the truther communities and the narcissistic abuse survival communities because they are both trying to untangle trauma bonds and get to the root of what is real and what is not real. And narcissistic relationships are not real. They are not real relationships. They seem it, but they're not. It's just like heroin. Heroin seems like it gives you real happiness, but it doesn't. So, why are narcissists so funny? The short answer is that they're not. So I remember a couple years back, one of my narcissistic exes came into my work, and I was there selling stuff, and he came in and he was talking to me, and he was just like joke after joke after joke, and I was laughing at what he said, but I didn't think he was funny. And one of the reasons I had dated him before was because I thought he was so funny. And even so, there's a contradiction. It seems like, well, if you were laughing at what he said, doesn't that mean he's funny? No. Humor sounds like human for a reason, right? Humor is a very human thing. It has to be rooted to something real. It has to be rooted to something true. And the kind of laughter that was coming out of my mouth when I was talking to this narcissistic ex was it was like mechanical. It was like it wasn't even real. It was very strange. It's 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 the dark arts. It's black magic. So, and of course I wasn't really talking to him much, because I was trying to sell yogurt, and he thought, he got all sad and sullen and walked away like he took it personally. Of course he did. He's a narcissist. They always take it personally. But no, I wanted my bonus. Anyway, so these relationships aren't real. They're not real relationships. Um, they're dark magic glamours. Like, remember the movie The Craft? They have those glamours. So, the way, narcissists are always in survival mode. Everything's about surviving. If you thought you had to be funny to survive, if you thought that you had to be hilarious just to matter, just to exist, you would be so much funnier than you think you could be. Because your brain doesn't care about that because you have a normal brain, most likely. Not all of you. But normal people don't need to walk around impressing people with how funny they are. They just live their lives. So, narcissism stems from some fundamental betrayal in childhood. Mother is the name for God on the lips and hearts of small children. When narcissists or when kids are betrayed in this way, it almost kind of knocks them out of the high vibration of a human being with agency and knocks them into this low vibration, this reptilian survival mode. I posted on Instagram the other day about that glazed over reptilian look that you see in the eyes of a narcissist, that empty look. And what you're seeing, the eyes are the window to the soul. You're seeing the nothing from the never-ending story. That's what's in there, because their idea of God got ripped apart. And it could be by trauma, it could be by spoiling, Spoiling, they call it passive abuse, indulgence. And it is an abuse, because I think this is the way it works. I'm not 100% sure, but my idea of how this works is that if you give a kid everything they want, he wants ice cream, he gets ice cream, he wants a toy, he gets the toy, when finally you cannot give the kid a thing that they want, they experience that as like a betrayal that is incomprehensible. They don't understand how it is that all of a sudden their will doesn't matter. And that makes them really scared. It makes them kind of shut down. And But yeah, as you get distance from narcissistic relationships, they look very different. They like with this guy who came into my work, it was way over that guy. He wasn't even funny. I did something. He was funny, but he wasn't funny because you see through them. You see through the glamour, the illusion that they're putting on for you. And what narcissists do, they front load their personalities with all of the good things they are able to mimic. The media does that too. Journalists do that too. They push all that good stuff that they can copy into the front. It's like they're front loading your experience with them. And, of course it's all fake, and it's because they're in survival mode and they have no choice but to do that. But when you look back 10 years from now, I mean, as you get distance from, I wrote this into Hario Avatop, I don't know how you say his name, but his streams are great, the live streams, the huddles, they're all extremely helpful if you're overcoming a narcissistic addiction, because that is what it is. It's an addiction, it's a lie. It gets into your brain and it tells you, it whispers lies into your brain, and that's what the devil does. Satan is the father of lies. You want that comforting lie. But it's so much better to go after the truth. It's like way better. So as you get distance from these relationships, all of the happy memories, the things that seemed like happiness at the time, you notice that it's actually just pain in disguise. There was some pain in there. It wasn't actually this happy thing. If you reflect on real relationships that you have, it looks very different. The happy memories look very different. They age a whole lot better. Those happy memories you have with a narcissist will age like milk. They have a definite shelf life. It turns to ash. It's like these relationships turn to dust because they were nothing. They were golems instead of real human beings. But when you look back, 5-10 years from now, you're not going to be saying to yourself, oh, I wish I had given that extra inch so that they could take a mile from me. I wish that I had violated my boundaries more to please this unpleasable person. No, you're going to be way past that. You're going to see it for what it is. It's not going to look good. It's really not going to look good. You're actually going to be freaked out how close to evil you were. You're going to be freaked out how dark it was. Like, when I look back on, that's one of the reasons that I have strength in getting rid of the most recent narcissist in my life, is because I know what it looks like in retrospect, and it's bad. There's nothing, it's not real. It's not real. It does nothing for you. And if you are in a narcissistic relationship, be it with the COVID narrative or a person, you will experience denial that you are experiencing an addiction. Because the brain does that. It says, I'm not in an addiction. Other people get addicted to things. I don't get addicted to things. You can get addicted to things. And you won't see it right away. It's, when you get addicted to gambling, you are actually getting addicted to the cortisol, the stress of losing, just as much as you are the thrill of winning. That dopamine, adrenaline, cortisol roller coaster is very addictive. And I don't know what it is exactly in our brains that makes us so susceptible to being addicted to trauma. Because I miss the trauma sometimes, and I don't know what that is. It's like, I know that there's a chemical, it's got to be a survival thing, But it's like, I miss being homeless. I miss that like, that absolute desolation. There's something about that. I don't know what it is. But, you don't have to live in survival mode. Narcissists kind of do, but you don't have to. So it's not real life. It's not even a real relationship. It's not. And I just realized one day, like, I don't want to be a junkie anymore. And that's when you go no contact. That's when you go cold turkey. I don't want to be a junkie anymore. It's not life. It's like the beginning of Trainspotting. They talk about that. Choose life. Choose something real. I remember I had a friend who was, she was this Jamaican girl who could just see through spells, basically. She could just see through lies. And she showed me, it was like some girl's Instagram photo that she put up. And I was like, oh, she looks cute. my friend was like, that ain't real. It's not real. And she's right. That's the thing about the internet. That's the spiritual war that's going on right now is, can you distinguish real value from what's fake? Do you think you can tell heaven from hell? Because a lot of people can't. And you'll have times when you're quitting these kinds of addictions where you don't know why you're quitting, because it felt good. It felt so good to be in the addiction. But if you just make it through those moments, if you just ignore it or do something else, whatever it is, that you have to do that's healthy, I promise you, God, the universe, the Great Spirit, whatever you believe in, will give you a moment of clarity so that you can see why you were putting up this fight right now in this spiritual war, which all of humanity is going through. That's why narcissism is trending so much right now, because the world is run by narcissists, and people are starting to wake up to that and wake up to what that really means for the species, for the internet, for your everyday life, for corporations, which are essentially, these golems that were spoken into life by narcissists most of the time. But it's never worth it. It's never worth it to go back to the addiction, whatever it is. It's always worth it to just stick it through, because it's just more lies. Why do you want to lie? Why do you want to live? It's the metaverse. It's the relationship equivalent of the metaverse, and it's like, do you really want? What is worse? Is it worse to put a chemical in your veins that makes you feel good, even though you haven't done anything to deserve feeling good? Or is it worth it? Or is it worse to be in a fake relationship? It's not clear which one's worse. So, anyway, I'm going to be talking more about this stuff. It's interesting. It ties into everything. It really does. So, take care.